You're driving home, everything's fine, the sun's going down, your favorite song is on, and life is good. Then you hear it, a faint ticking, somewhere deep in the engine bay. Tick, tick, tick. You turn up the radio, we've all done it. But here's the thing nobody tells you. That little tick you just ignored, it might be a $40 part, and in about 3 weeks, it's going to take a $9,000 part with it. Welcome to the strangest truth about modern cars. The most expensive problems aren't the loud ones. They're not the crashes. They're not the breakdowns on the side of the highway. They're the quiet ones. And they're hiding in plain sight on cars you'd swear were perfectly healthy. Here's what most people get wrong. We think expensive car problems come from crashes or from neglect or from some idiot who never changed the oil. But the priciest failures in modern cars happen to people who do everything right, people who change their oil on time, people who baby their cars, people who follow the manual to the letter. Why? Somewhere around the 1980s, cars stopped being tanks and started being racehorses. Emissions laws got stricter, fuel economy targets got harder, and engineers had exactly one option: squeeze more power out of smaller engines. So they added turbochargers spinning at over 200,000 revolutions per minute, direct injection systems firing fuel at pressures higher than the bottom of the ocean, a dual clutch gearboxes with computer brains, continuously variable transmissions, giant lithium-ion battery packs, brilliant on paper, brutal in the real world. Volkswagen's 2.0 turbo engines became infamous for timing chain tensioners, tiny parts smaller than your thumb, snapping and grenading entire engines. Nissan's early continuously variable transmissions failed by the hundreds of thousands, sparking class action lawsuits. BMW's V8 engines started eating their own camshafts before the E. Warranty was even up. Each one was the same story: ambition outrunning durability. So what's actually going on inside these machines? Think about it this way. A modern gasoline engine fires its pistons roughly 50 times every single second at highway speeds. The temperatures inside the combustion chamber are hot enough to melt aluminum. The pressures are violent enough to bend steel. The only thing keeping the whole thing from welding itself shut is a film of oil just a few microns thick, thinner than a human hair. It's like a Swiss watch swinging a sledgehammer 50 times a second. Beautiful precision doing brutal work over and over for years. Now add a transmission, a modern automatic shifts gears using hydraulic pressure controlled by tiny electronic valves called solenoids, reacting in milliseconds, hundreds of thousands of times over the life of the car. One worn solenoid, one clogged passage the size of a pinhole, and a whole gearbox starts hunting for gears it can't find. And then there's the battery pack in a hybrid or EV. It holds enough energy to level a small building. A computer balances hundreds, sometimes thousands, of individual cells to within a few millivolts of each other, while monitoring temperature in real time. It's like an apartment building where every tenant has to stay the exact same temperature, and if one neighbor gets a fever, the entire block gets evicted. Here's the cruel part. In every one of these systems, the part that fails first is cheap: a $40 tensioner, a $5 coolant seal, a single weak cell out of hundreds. But because everything is so tightly wound, so finely tuned, so dependent on every other piece, that cheap failure takes the expensive part with it. The little thing kills the big thing every single time. And this isn't just a car problem. It's a pattern that runs through everything we build. A $2 rubber O-ring brought down the Space Shuttle Challenger and killed 7 astronauts. A clogged drain line, the kind of thing you'd never think about, can flood an entire house from a single air conditioning unit in the attic. One dead cell in your laptop battery bricks the whole pack. A frayed belt in your washing machine warps the drum. A loose connector in a wind turbine shuts down a $1 million machine. Complex systems always fail at their cheapest, most ignored interface. In cars, the numbers are staggering. Replacing a modern automatic transmission now averages $4,000 to $8,000. Some German dual clutch units cross $12,000. A full hybrid or EV battery replacement runs $15,000 to $30,000. And on luxury models, occasionally pass $50,000. Read that again, $50,000. That's more than the original sticker price of plenty of new cars. A blown turbocharger? 2.5 to 5,000 installed. A failed high pressure fuel pump on a direct injection engine? 2,000. A cracked exhaust manifold on a turbo car? 3,000. Even the routine stuff hurts now. Direct injection engines need their intake valves physically scrubbed of carbon every 40,000 miles or so because of how the fuel sprays. That clean-in alone costs around $600. And here's the headline number, the one that should keep car buyers up at night. The average repair bill on a new car in the United States costs $4,000 in 2024. That's roughly double what it was just 10 years ago. Doubled in a decade. Now, before you swear off modern cars forever and go buy a 1995 Toyota Camry, here's the other side of the coin. These same fragile, finicky, expensive systems are the reason your family SUV gets 40 miles per gallon instead of 18. They're the reason a regular four-door sedan can hit 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds. Performance that used to belong exclusively to Ferraris and Lamborghinis, they're the reason an electric crossover with 3 rows of seats can out-accelerate a supercar from a stoplight. They're the reason emissions from new cars are a tiny fraction of what they were a generation ago. The fragility isn't a bug, it's the price of the magic. That's why extended warranties have quietly become a massive industry. It's why the right to repair movement is exploding around the world. And it's why a growing number of buyers are deliberately seeking out simpler, older used cars, the automotive equivalent of switching back to a flip phone, just to avoid the heartbreak. So let's go back to that ticking noise from the beginning, the one you turned the radio up to ignore. It wasn't nothing. It was the cheapest part of an incredibly expensive chain, quietly asking for help before it took everything else down with it. That's the real lesson hiding inside the world's most expensive car problems. In a modern machine, the small things aren't small. They're the only things. The whole system is held together by parts you've never heard of, doing jobs you've never thought about until the day they stop. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Look around your life right now. What's the cheapest, most overlooked, most ignorable little thing that's quietly holding up everything else? Find it. Listen to it. Because somewhere out there, something is ticking.